Hello, thank you for joining in for organizational learning at Vanke Miesha Academy, an organizational learning project for HOL 6707. The materials presented in this presentation were prepared and presented by Sarah Brownlee, Karma Israelson, Kaylin Liang, and Ayana Moore. The purpose of this briefing is to provide the Board of Directors at the Vanke Miesha Academy with the outcomes and recommendations of our organizational learning analysis. The presentation is arranged into the following sections for your reference: Organizational Learning Project Scope, VMA Background Information, Evaluation Methodology, Summary of Key Findings, Recommendations, and Concluding Thoughts. Please note that we will reference the Lipschitz model for organizational learning throughout the course of this presentation. This model can be found in Demystifying Organizational Learning by Raman Lipschitz, Victor Friedman, and Miesha Popper. As we begin our presentation, we wanted to provide you with some foundational information about organizational learning. Organizational learning is the means of measuring an organization according to its ability to process, store, and use knowledge. You may ask yourself why organizational learning is being evaluated at VMA. Our team selected VMA due to its unique organizational structure and your reputation for your professional development program. Our goal for evaluating VMA was to assess the current state of learning and provide recommendations to help the organization get to its desired state of learning. As we prepared to engage directly with your organization, we took the following criteria into consideration. We understood that the private education industry in China has been undergoing exponential growth over the last decade, with growth and expansion continuing across the country. We realized that Vanke Miesha Academy is a Chinese high school with an international curriculum catering to the ongoing demand for global curriculum. We also knew that the school had been established in 2015 and is funded by the Vanke Education Fund. In just 4 short years since VMA was established, the enrollment has grown and continues to grow at record rates. In comparison to other schools in the same market basket, VMA exceeds enrollment by about 300 students on average. VMA has existing professional development programs that are available for teaching faculty to participate in. The goal of the professional development program is to equip faculty to create an environment that fosters global citizens with a Chinese cultural identity. With this information in mind, we were able to focus our assessment on the areas that we thought would be most meaningful to you. This assessment matters to VMA because you're currently pursuing accreditation by the Western Association of Schools and Colleges to further enhance your reputation at an international level. We understand that you must be able to demonstrate that your professional development program equips teachers to improve student achievement. Our project aims to contribute to the accreditation process by evaluating the current professional development program and providing additional recommendations to improve the overall learning environment at VMA for professional staff. In addition to gathering the contextual information about your organization that helped us to form the basis for our research, we almost immediately identified a set of assumptions and a set of challenges that we would have to work very hard to overcome. Our key assumptions as a team are as follows. First, we assume that VMA is structured similarly to U.S.-based schools. Second, we assume that VMA faculty and staff have similar interest in developing professionally as U.S.-based faculty and staff. We also assume that VMA as an organization benefits from the development of their faculty and staff. These key assumptions were critical to how we formed our opinions and recommendations for this project. Initial challenges that we had to overcome also included VMA's location, limiting access for members of our team to be able to engage with members of your team directly. We also recognized almost immediately that existing in 2 different time zones would further limit our ability to engage with your team in a way that was fluid and meaningful. There were time delays on our responses and responses from your team just based on the time zone. And finally, we had difficulty identifying platforms for gathering information that was used by this project that would translate well and also be accessible to VMA staff. As we prepared to evaluate VMA's current state of organizational learning, we identified 3 methodologies that would help us gather the information necessary to analyze and assess and make recommendations for your organization. First, we conducted on-site meetings. Kaylin Liang, our on-site team lead, met regularly with your Director of Academic Research to gather information on the design and scope of the professional development program. We found these meetings to be extremely critical to the success of this project. Throughout the course of the project, we were able to tap into information from the Director of Academic Research to either pivot or to expand upon the ideas and thoughts that we had for analysis. Second, we conducted a faculty survey. Our team designed a 24-question survey that was distributed to the 66 teaching faculty. 33 of the faculty members responded to the survey. We will detail the survey results later in the presentation, but we found the information to be extremely useful as we were analyzing and determining what recommendations needed to be made for the current state of learning at VMA. Finally, we were able to review school program records. Our team was given professional development records for the VMA faculty for the last 3 academic years. These records were also extremely helpful in helping us to assess the engagement level of the faculty and the effectiveness of the program. We were able to see specifically which classes each faculty member participated in, the frequency in which they participated, and what outcomes may have come from their attendance and participation in the program. As we transition into the assessment portion of our presentation, it is important that you understand that information here is summary level. We have documentation and data to back up all of the statements made in this presentation. We wanted to present you with information that was quick, timely, and useful so that you can make immediate decisions on how you want to proceed with organizational learning within your organization. Please keep that in mind as you listen to the remainder of this presentation. Assessment of the current state. Here are a few things that we learned about VMA that we think are critical in how we analyzed and made recommendations for the organization. First, we learned that VMA's current practices are impeding the effectiveness of the meaningful organizational learning. What we mean by that is that VMA's practices are well-intentioned, but given the structure of the organization and the expectations for teaching faculty, the program is not designed in a way that makes participation easy. The second thing that we learned is that the current structure is lacking relevant resources and it is poorly structured. Although the resources financially are available, there are not enough human resources or technological resources available to assist in mobilizing the program in a way that is meaningful and useful for teaching faculty. Third, the infrequency of engagement with faculty limits the impact of training and development. We'll talk a little bit more about this in the next few slides, but understanding that the training program is limited to several opportunities a year does not provide teaching faculty with enough opportunities to really grow and develop in areas that are of interest to them. And finally, although VMA is a learning organization by mission and purpose, designed to instruct and teach high school students, it is not necessarily a learning organization as defined by Lipschitz and others, where knowledge is generated, stored, and useful to other members within the organization. Currently, VMA has both formal and informal learning structures in place for staff professional development. The formal learning structures consist of the Week 0 Professional Development Summit, the mid-semester professional development check-ins, external professional development opportunities, and faculty evaluations. We found that there are multiple learning opportunities available across the organization. There is also a strong foundation for the learning culture that exists within the organization. However, there's a mixed response on the overall effectiveness of the available training opportunities. There was some concern noted in the survey about the relevance of the topics provided in the training and the timing of the training. The informal learning structures are as follows: the language exchange program and the peer-to-peer information sharing. We found that opportunities for informal learning are limited. Informal and effective structures exist in supporting informal learning, and the structures do not necessarily encourage peer-to-peer engagement. In summary, we thought it would be critical to share with you some survey highlights that stood out to us. First, 75% of the respondents said that VMA faculty feel utilized in their current role. That is an absolutely critical statistic to show, and for that many of your faculty to feel like they're being utilized in their role is a wonderful thing. So kudos to you for your hard work in making faculty and staff feel appreciated and welcomed as members of the team. Second, 90% of VMA faculty believe that VMA supports professional development. Again, this statistic is wonderful in showing how the learning culture exists within the organization. Third, 54% of VMA faculty see work responsibilities as flexible enough to attend external learning events. Participation in external learning events is complicated for any organization. However, if external learning events is one of your primary means of providing professional development, it is imperative that faculty feel supported and feel like there is flexibility within their work day and work responsibilities to be able to actually participate in external learning events without having to worry about the day-to-day demands. Fourth, 57% of faculty are satisfied with the frequency and feedback of the teaching evaluations. And while there is a great deal of satisfaction with the teaching evaluations, it may be critical for you to reconsider the timing and the frequency and what is measured in the teaching evaluation so that it is consistent from teacher to teacher and faculty feel like they're benefiting from the moment of evaluation. And finally, 42% of faculty at VMA are unaware that VMA has PowerSchool as a knowledge storage system. What we learned is that PowerSchool does not work as a learning management system where training can be accessible and available on demand. However, it is a storage system that tracks and measures completion of professional development. And so it might be helpful for you to spend some time publicizing and advertising PowerSchool so that your faculty can understand the expectations for using PowerSchool to track and maintain professional development requirements. As we prepare to transition into the final phase of this presentation, which focuses on our recommendations and concluding thoughts, we do want to note that the recommendations provided in this presentation are high-level summary information. We will be available at the conclusion of this presentation to answer any questions that you may have about our evaluation methodology or the recommendations provided in this presentation. Our first recommendation for ways in which VMA can enhance organizational learning is to create a shared vision and codify knowledge. Beerson defines shared vision as the extent to which members of an entity agree on a vision for the future, which may then form the basis for action. Shared vision is absolutely critical to outlining expectations for team members and prompting their progress. We believe that VMA needs to create or further articulate the shared vision for organizational learning. The organization has a solid culture of learning. However, there is a necessity for members of the organization to understand the expectation for their role in organizational learning. Additionally, we believe that institutional knowledge needs to be arranged and stored in a manner that also aligns with the shared vision. Our second recommendation is that VMA find a way to enhance accountability between the organization, organizational leadership, and the members of the organization, mainly the faculty. Beer and Spector believe that organizations must establish and hold members accountable for engaging in a process that is part of an ongoing institutionalized part of organizational culture. We believe that it is critical for you to implement a formal process for monitoring and evaluating learning to connect motivation to learn to organizational learning. Additionally, we believe that it is necessary to determine if the teaching assignments are conducive for learning or if adjustments need to be made to create space for learning. In the survey, faculty identified that they were absolutely interested in engaging in professional development learning opportunities as they were available. However, they also noted that teaching assignments make it almost impossible to be able to engage in internal and external learning events. We suggest that if organizational learning is a priority for your organization, that you evaluate the responsibilities of the teachers to determine if there is a way by which teachers can be empowered to participate in internal and external learning events that will ultimately enhance the organizational learning profile for the organization. Our final recommendation is that VMA find a way to create cultural islands of learning. We believe that it is absolutely critical that you identify actual development needs from faculty. What we've learned is that faculty are interested, eager, and willing to engage in professional development opportunities that are available through the organization. However, the topics of interest may not be relevant to all of the faculty members at the same time. It is important that the organization prioritizes some sort of additional assessment or survey to gauge the interest and the needs of the faculty immediately. In addition to that, we encourage you to build an internal and external training curriculum around those needs. We believe that this strategy will increase engagement in the professional development program and facilitate opportunities for staff to learn from one another in more of a formalized structure. This enables productive learning, that is, learning that is a conscious and critical process of reflection intended to produce new perceptions, goals, and/or behavior strategies that can embed new knowledge in the organization. In addition to our 3 recommendations to enhance the state of organizational learning at VMA, we wanted to offer you some concluding thoughts that we believe will help you to continue to transform organizational learning. We hope that you will receive these concluding thoughts as food for thought and potential areas to prioritize in the future. First, we know and understand that appropriate allocation of resources is critical in the establishment and evolution of organizational learning. From what we were able to gather, we understand that financial resources dedicated to professional development are not limited at VMA. However, we think that it is important for you to consider whether or not these resources are in alignment with the needs of the members of the organization and the overall shared vision for organizational learning. Second, as organizations transform, assessing the state of the learning culture must be a leading part of the transformation process. This assessment is a great first step in looking into what organizational learning can be for VMA. However, we encourage you to plan and prioritize ongoing assessment so that you can continue to understand the state of the learning within the organization. Third, strong vision for the development of teaching faculty must be articulated, measured, and enforced. Although we have already stated that shared vision is necessary, we believe that it is critical for you to understand that it is not enough for you to simply state the shared vision, but that you have to be able to articulate, measure, and then enforce the shared vision consistently across the organization. And finally, VMA is well positioned to be able to leverage the broad and diverse set of experiences and talent in order to transform the organization's learning agenda as it grows. As you consider our findings and recommendations, we want to encourage you to make sure that you understand that you are doing a wonderful job of providing your faculty with opportunities to learn, grow, and develop. As your organization continues to evolve, there will always be areas for ongoing improvement. We believe that the information that we provided in this presentation will allow you to leverage what is already existing so that you can continue to excel and transcend to new levels, prioritizing learning as an organization. At this time, we would like to extend our appreciation to the faculty, staff, and leadership of VMA. Thank you so much for allowing us to come in and engage with members of your team, ask questions, and learn more about what you are doing to strive for accreditation and to become an organization that learns. We hope that the information presented in this presentation and in the subsequent report will provide you everything that you need to get started and to move forward. Thank you again for your time. We appreciate your attention and will now open the floor for any questions that you may have regarding the information presented in this presentation. Thank you.